Looks like my man David Cronenberg is back in the director's chair. And from the sound of things, he's going back to the controversial style that made his name. Movie Talk starts now.
This is DSU News with Shane Nasty, baby!
Now, the last thing I remember Cronenberg doing was a role in the most recent series on Shudder called Slasher, Flesh and Blood. But now he's finished with his most recent film called Crimes of the Future, and is making its way through international programmers before it hits film festivals. And here's more about the actual movie itself. They say that this is the first original sci-fi script by Cronenberg since 1999's Existence. It sounds just as ambitious, taking a deep dive into the not-so-distant future where humankind is learning to adapt to its synthetic surroundings. This evolution moves humans beyond their natural state and into a metamorphosis, altering their biological makeup. While some embrace the limitless potential of transhumanism, others attempt to police it. Either way, accelerated evolution syndrome is spreading fast. In the film, Saul Tenser, as the beloved performance artist who has embraced accelerated evolution syndrome, I guess it would be probably EAS, anyways, sprouting new and unexpected organs in his body. Along with his partner Caprice, Tenser has turned the removal of these organs into a spectacle for his loyal followers to marvel at in real-time theater. But with both the government and strange subculture taking note, Tenser is forced to consider what would be his most shocking performance of all. An anonymous person who actually was lucky enough to screen the movie had this to say about it. I cannot say much, obviously, but if people thought Crash was devised back in 1996, this is going to create way more chaos and controversy for sure. The last 20 minutes are a very tough sit. I expect walkouts, faintings, and real panic attacks. I almost had one myself at the Lumiere Theater. No hyperbole, I promise. They also added Leah Seydoux's role is way too bonkers and radical to contend for a Cannes Best Actress Award in my book. But I'd love to be proven wrong. I see no precedent in Cannes for a performance of that caliber, genre, gaining momentum with a jury. I mean, Seydoux basically plays a very oft-naked Gina Payne-like artist in the future. Now, those who don't know Gina Payne, she was known for she was actually a controversial artist back in 1970s, and most known for her stage act called The Conditioning, where she would lay on a metal bed frame over burning candles. But you see the pictures, man. This girl was no joke. Now, we did make a film back in 1970 with the same name and a pretty similar premise. But I won't go too much into it because it's a pretty perverted flick. But trust me, it's easy to find online. Not hard at all. So definitely check that one out if you want. If you dare. So it also has a good cast starring Kristen Stewart, Viggo Mortensen, as well as Leah Seydoux. This movie sounds like it's all over the place. I guess it's a sci-fi horror flick or a sci-fi movie with horror elements, it sounds like. With the whole body part things and all that. But anyhow, though. Early screenings have people walking out due to content in the movie. Obviously, things like this are going to raise eyebrows, and the Stella Artois drinking people, those Film Fest folks are going to go nuts on this one. Curiosity is going to push people to watch this one. I'm going to say this. Like most festivals, you got a mixed crowd who aren't necessarily fans of certain genres. And usually horror sci-fi flicks tend to get the short end of the stick and are lauded for its content. And, they'll throw words around like controversy and disgusting, blah, blah, blah. But hey, you know what? I mean, it could be true. But I would like to hear from a horror sci-fi film fest type crowd, the fans who are really into this kind of thing and get a real take on what this film is really like. There are very few films that I have watched that made me want to leave the theater. Most are because they bored me to death. But anyhow, though, Cronenberg has made some pretty crazy films in the past that made you think to yourself, God damn, what was this guy thinking? This dude is something else for sure. But regardless, though, he never shied away from making movies the way he wants and is unapologetic about it. And that's what makes it nasty, dude. I really appreciate that. What I like most about his films is that they are thought-provoking, though. Through all the violence and the shocking content, you walk out saying to yourself, dude, if you actually really think about it, what if this really happened in life, though? Are there really people out there like this who feel this way? Another bonus is that he likes to use practical effects in most of his films. But anyhow, I'll stick close to this one as more news is released. But in the meantime, be sure to slice that like button to get to the subscribe button, because on the Don't Split Up channel, hell, it's never been so cool. Shay Nasty out.
And now, Trailer Talk with Shay Nasty. Psst. Yo, come here, man. Yo, have you heard about that new movie? What? Trailer Talk.